Hi, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today's just gonna be a little Q&A, kind of a meet the author or get to know the author kind of tag situation. Author tag. For someone who writes, I'm not very good with words, like verbally. I can write them down, but verbally. Bleh. But yeah, welcome to my channel. I'm Alicia. This is Alicia Creates. I create usually a mess, but I create some stuff. But yes, um, I'm filming all of my videos for this month out of order. So if these boxes aren't here in previous videos, that is why. I filmed these videos, like I said, out of order. So hopefully these boxes get moved. We'll see. I'm gonna try to make my background look better at some point, but anyway. The first question, because I went on a couple different, I just kind of Googled like author tags, like meet the author kind of things, and I just jotted down a couple, like, well, not a couple, I wrote down all the questions that like sounded like something I could answer and sounded like something you might be interested in. And one of them, and this is just kind of the basic like meet the author kind of thing. One of them was name and where you're from, and I don't want to dox myself too much, so I'm just going to say my name's Alicia, which you already know because it's in my channel video or channel name. And then where you're from, again, don't want to dox myself too much, so I'm just going to say I am from the South, because that is a large enough region that figure it out. I'm from the South. I feel like a lot of people always tell me they can't tell from the way I sound, but then randomly some people will be like, wow, you sound Southern. But I feel like it's my wording, not my accent, so. Um, a lot of speech therapy gave me this accent, if you were wondering why I don't sound Southern. 12 years of speech therapy. It's fine. Um, what got you into writing? Like I said, I think in my first video from this month, I've always had, well, several ideas in my head, but I've had a few ongoing one of, I wish there was a book like this, so I just kind of created this like book movie thing in my head, and I would just kind of run through it constantly, like continuously, because I have a very vivid imagination. And I was just like, "Ugh, I would really love to read a book like this." And I looked and I looked and I looked and I could not find, I even, like, I did everything I could to find them, and I found books where people were, and I even compared them to other things where people were like, oh, this book is like this movie or like this show or like this other book, which is what I was using as comparisons to try to find things like them. And I read them all like, this is nothing like what I'm wanting. So finally I was like, F it. I'll write the book I want to read myself. And so here I am writing a lot. It's a lot because I don't want to write myself into a plot hole. So I don't want to like write a book, query it, publish it or self-publish it or whatever the situation is, and then go to write the second book and then be like, oh, now I've written myself into this corner that I don't want to be in. Now I have to like figure something out or have to like disregard something I wrote in the first book to get the situation or the outcome I want in this book, and then create things that don't make sense. So what I'm doing is I'm writing the story itself from beginning to end, and then I'm gonna kind of break it up into books. Because I've already, and I'm glad I've done that, because because of how much I've written, and it would have technically already been the first book, and I like already started on like the second book. I've already went back far into the first book and changed a few things because I've gotten to the end of where I'm at now, which would be probably like a quarter into the second book, and be like, I don't like how this is happening. I need to change something here. Gone back, adjusted some stuff. So I'm really glad I've done that because it needed to be done. It was not the how I wanted it to play out. So I needed to, but yeah, that's what got me into writing, and that's how that's going. I think I just gave a long blabber for no reason, but anyway. Biggest writing struggle, grammar. I'm dyslexic, and bless my school. They did their best. My dad's dyslexic, and my mom tried to go to them and say, "Hey, I think she's dyslexic because her dad's dyslexic." And they're like, "Oh," and I'm older, so at the time, and also my school was very small. My graduating class had like 60 people in it, and half of them were my cousins. Um, that sounds really weird. But, well, not half, like 5 of them. But, my mom was like, "Hey, I think she's dyslexic. Her dad's dyslexic." And the school's like, "Oh, that's not genetic." They're like, "Oh, that's not genetic. I'm sure she's fine. She's just young. We'll figure it out. And also, you can't test this at this age." That was 1st grade. Now they test in 1st grade. Um, and in 2nd grade, they just chunked me in, uh, special ed during, the time where we work on what would be like English class kind of stuff. And since I was the only one in special ed that didn't physically need someone watching them at all times to make sure I didn't like hurt myself, hurt others, do something I shouldn't be doing, they were just like, "Okay, you can reasonably mind yourself. So here's a coloring book of some crowns. Go sit in the corner and please be quiet." And so they just shoved me in a corner and it was like, "Please behave while we try to keep this room quiet with the other students and keep them reined in." And so that's what I did for years and years and years. So I didn't get any actual education when it comes to like English class until so I had like kindergarten, 1st grade, and then I had the last year and a half-ish of high school. So no English education, unfortunately. So that was really unfortunate. Really unfortunate. So everything I'm doing right now, I'm teaching myself. Before I started writing and I was just writing what very little I knew, and I'd come to a situation and I'll have to Google, I'm like, "Do you use this kind of punctuation here? How do you structure this? How do you," like, so I'm having to really teach myself the basics, or sometimes I'll even go to my boyfriend, I'm like, "Hey, how do you do this?" And he'll have to answer it, or he'll be like, "Actually, I'm not sure," which makes me feel better because he's college educated. And beyond a college education, he's just also very smart. So, 2 pieces of a puzzle, really. Not calling myself dumb, I'm just saying I'm missing some stuff and he's got some extra stuff, so kinda works. Best writing skill. Can creativity be a writing skill? Because like, the whole dyslexic thing kinda gives you not, like, gives you extra creativity, but there's, like, that science where, like, and I was also an only child, so, like, that also or not leans, but, aids in the creativity. I was only child, dyslexic, so, like, the amount of times I've been told, "Wow, you're really creative," but, like, it didn't sound like a compliment the way they said it, so but I'm gonna take it as a compliment. So I'm gonna say best writing skill, creativity? If that doesn't sound I don't know. I feel like that question, like, you're supposed to answer it, but the answer sounds really conceited, so I'm just gonna move on. Plotter or pantser? Pantser and then plotter. So I just start writing everything that I can, and then when I get stuck, then I plot. So I look back at everything I have written, and I write it down as if as if I had already plotted it, and then I don't know, like, visualizing that in, like, small bullet points kind of, like, helps me figure out, "Oh, okay, here's." I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense, but if I get stuck, then I'll plot what I've already pants, that's I don't know if that's a word, but I don't like it. So yeah, so a bit of both, I guess. It depends. Or if I'm, like, maybe finding, like, a plot hole, or if I'm trying to figure out if something's working out right, then I'll plot what I've already pantsed. I keep saying that word, and I don't think it's right, but I'm gonna move on. Genre. Ooh. So, definitely fiction in a sense. Like, right now, I'm writing in a So the thing is I struggle since I didn't have, like, go back to question, what was it, 4 about my lack of education, so I don't know exactly, like, the genres. So I always struggle to know what genre I'm in. So I know one of them I'm writing is like I think apocalyptic is a genre. So one of them is apocalyptic, and then the other one I think is technically a fantasy paranormal. It's like Monster Hunter, and then the other one is an apocalyptic thing. So those are my genres. If anyone can help me out in the comments to figure out what that is. I'd Google it right now, but I've Googled it before and I've spent like a long time just sitting there trying to figure it out. So yeah, that stuff is usually the kind of stuff I read, but I also read, because it just said genre question mark, so I don't know if it's like what I'm writing or what I'm reading, but that kind of stuff I like to read. I like to read like apocalypse, whether it's zombie or non-zombie. I like to read like monster stuff, whether the story is about monsters, kind of like the Vampire Diaries or the Sookie Stackhouse series, or if it's like something where it's like Monster Hunters, almost like the name of the book series is escaping my head, but something like the like Supernatural turn book series. I can't, but something like that. And then moving on. How did you find authortube? So there's, what are their names? What are their names? I know their first names. I don't know their either last names or their full like YouTube channel names. So I know there's Abby something. I'm gonna put her name here. Abby, this chick. And then there's Alyssa. And then there's Alyssa in the books. Start watching her, like all of them. The first two I found like a year ago or more when I started writing, and I was like looking, like I was just trying to figure stuff out and learn. I was just trying to learn. And then the other one, Alyssa in the books, I discovered a couple months ago or so when I was just, I don't know, listening to someone talk about their writing while I brainstorm is helpful. Like, I feel like I'm talking shop with a friend, if that makes sense. Like, we're just sitting there chit-chatting about books, about what we're doing. Also, random middle of the video interlude. I'm doing my best with the lighting. I don't have my lights set up exactly where I'd want them to, so it's probably not the best, but also my lights I have aren't the best, so I'm still getting that sorted out. So I might try to invest in better lighting soon, but with the whole buying a new house thing, we're trying not to spend a lot of money. And we also have to like, even if you have furniture, like we're living, like we're renting, so we didn't have a lot of furniture, but even when you think you have everything you need, when you buy a house, you realize like you have to buy a lot of stuff. You have to buy a lot of stuff. So not that we don't have the money, it just we're trying to be careful. So this may be the lighting for a little while. I'm really sorry. Anyway, next question. Goals for this channel. Um, I'm not aiming to make it a big channel. If that happens, it happens. It probably won't because I'm just doing chill stuff. And again, I don't plan on having a regular upload schedule because I tried doing that before, and every time I didn't upload on that date, I felt like a failure and it made me not want to make content, or it made me not want to post. Even though I literally had nobody commenting like, where's your video? Or why didn't you post? Or messaging me and be like, how dare you not? Like, I had nobody be mean to me. I just personally was like promising myself and promising other people I was going to do something, and then I didn't do it, and I felt bad, and it just made me not want to. So I'm not going to set a schedule. It's just if I happen to be in the mood to crochet or to make something and I'm going to try to film it, then I'll post it. And I'm gonna have like a kind of tiny goal. I'm gonna try to make, once I get all of this out of the way and I get my stuff set up, I'm gonna try to make something and post a video where I physically make something once, maybe twice a month minimum-ish. don't hold me to that, so it may not happen, and then I'll try to do my book videos also like that, so we'll see. We'll see. Altogether, even if you combine the videos, I don't wanna post less than twice a month, but we'll see how that works. I have a lot going on right now, and also my boyfriend just switched jobs, so, like, our whole schedule is about to change because I want to see him, so I'm gonna have to change my schedule so I can see him. It's a whole thing. Anyway, are you looking for beta readers? Not right now. Like, yes and no. Like, I am, but I need to create a forum if I want other people, like, if I want, like, my viewers to read it. But if I make, like, authortube friends and we end up hitting it off, then I'll be like, and they want to like switch books, then I'll be like, because right now I do have like 8 chapters of the second book I started working on that I want like my boyfriend to read, which I get he's my boyfriend and people are gonna be like, oh, he's not gonna give you a lot of feedback, but trust me, he will give me feedback. I told him not to hold back and he's like, oh, you don't have to tell me not to hold back. I'm making my boyfriend sound so awful. He's not. He's a really sweet guy. Um, but I'm gonna have him do that, and I've had a couple of my friends give me feedback, and then I also am on some Discords that I plan on getting feedback on there as well. But I have 8 chapters of that one, and then I have 10 chapters of the other one, which I'm actually not going to have sent out again to get more feedback because I am about to do a giant overtaking, which you'll see in either future videos or you'll have already seen. I'm not sure at this point because, again, I'm recording this ahead of time. But yeah. But when I do want beta readers, then I will try to make like a form and put it in my bio for people to fill out. How fast / how much can I write? It depends. It depends. So again, the whole typing was also during a block period when I was in special ed, so I didn't learn that at school. So I can type pretty quickly, like, because I have a job where I have to type. However, I don't type the traditional way. I type a really weird way that was just kind of self-learned, but I can still type pretty fast. But I don't think that has anything to do with how fast I write. I think it has to do with my motivation. Because there's some times where I can sit down and I can write nonstop continuously for an hour or 2 or 3 or 4, or there was one day I sat down and I wrote nonstop for like 8 or 9 hours. Like I was just on it. I was on it. I wrote so much. And then there are some times where I sit down and I'll in like 4 hours I'll write like a paragraph and I'm like, what have I been doing? And it's like the hardest paragraph I've ever written for some reason, because I'm like, what is going on? So it really depends on my state of mind, what's going on in the story, general flow. Like it really depends. It really depends. Do you get fatigue writing the same project? No, but I get overwhelmed, especially on my first project, which is the apocalyptic one, because there's so many moving parts and there's a lot going on that I get so overwhelmed with. I almost feel like that SpongeBob meme where his eyes go in all different directions and his like arms are going, like, you know what I mean? Like that's how I feel. And sometimes I have to take it. I just have to and then step away for a minute so my brain can figure it all out. So I'll move on to my other project, or I'll just step away and crochet. And when I say step away, I don't mean for like an hour. I mean like for a week or 2 or a month and work on my other project and just crochet and relax, and then all of that will kind of fall into place in my mind, and then I'll come back and it'll be a little easier for me to sort out, because sometimes I have to, there's a lot going on. Like I really honestly need to clear out a whole wall and like put up people's names and like the strings and have like make it look like some weird like crime investigator situation on my wall to get this sorted out, because there's a lot. But yeah, that's not fatigue, just overwhelmed. At least on that project. The other project I just started, well, not just started, but I'm really enjoying it. It's really enjoyable, so no fatigue on that one. I want to start on that one, but I have ideas for the apocalyptic one, so when we start writing, or we've been writing, I guess, at this point, that's the one I'm working on. And then why did you change the channel to include writing? Because I wanted to talk to to someone, to people about writing, because I wanted to chit chat about writing, because I have a friend who writes, but she moved, like, to another state, like, really far away, and we talk, but it's she has kids and she's busy, and so we can't, like, get on the phone and chat, so it's, like, through messages, and it's just not the same. Like, we could send voice memos, it's not quite the same, and my poor boyfriend, like I said, is probably sick of hearing me just drone on about characters that he's not heard of, because again, he hasn't read that book yet, because I haven't given him any of the chapters to read, and also apocalyptic stuff isn't his vibe. The other book is, so I'm gonna have him read the 8 chapters I have of that one, but I'm gonna spare him and probably not force him unless he's just nice and wants to read the other one. But I've just been droning on, so I'm gonna be nice and try to either, like I said, find authortube friends, or I'm on a Discord where once I start swapping books with people, I'm hoping to find friends on there that I can maybe like video chat or call and stuff, and we can talk about books that way. But also just with you guys, then I can like work on my book, give you guys general updates. I'm not gonna be like, I'm gonna make up some names now, like Tina, Devin, and this happened and that. Like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna give very general information on what's happening in my book, because I don't want to give anything away. But yeah, then I'll be able to give updates. It was like, okay, I started here and now I have this many words. Like, I'm about to do this big overtaking and change like plot. Like, I'm just gonna give. I'm not doing a very good job of explaining this because I don't know. But I'm just gonna give very general updates, and then I'll be able to like gab at someone about it. Because even when I tell him, like, talk to him about it, I don't give specific information because I don't want to spoil it for him in case he does read it. Which again, I know he's probably not, because it's not his cup of tea. But I don't want to spoil it anyway. And I'm not done with it 100%, because so things could also change. But yeah, that is all of that for this Q&A. I'll probably do another Q&A at a different point that has different kinds of questions. But yeah, if you have any questions for me, drop them in the comments below. Leave a... Actually, just leave an emoji that describes your favorite book or your favorite genre, and I will try to figure out what it means. I may not comment what I think it means, but I will see it and I will try to figure it out. Yeah. Here's my emoji. I'll pop that right here. Probably right here so you can see it. Here's my emoji. If I can get it into this video, we'll see. I don't know if I can put emojis on my video editor. But yeah, there's my emoji. And if you stuck around this far, thank you so much. I hope to see you in other videos. And again, I'm going to try to get this sorted out if it hasn't been sorted out in other videos. You will probably see this again because I am going to record my other Q&A right after this one. I'm so sorry you're going to have to see all this again if it hasn't been changed in other videos. And also my other videos are going to be shot at a different angle, so you probably won't see this quite the same way. But yeah, thank you so much for sticking around. I will see you next time. Bye!